Housing is an important social determinant of health. With COVID-19 and the actions taken to mitigate its spread, this highlights the central role of the home in people's life. With the restriction of movement and lockdown in most states and cities, people must stay in their homes with very limited exemptions. This unprecedented restriction means that people are being forced to think about their homes in new ways, highlighting inequalities in housing and repercussions for health. Most obviously, staying at home is not an option if you do not have a home. Homeless people have poorer existing health and lack the basic facilities that will enable them to reduce the risk to COVID-19 by isolating or washing their hands regularly. What palliative have been provided for this set of persons? This is one question begging for an answer. Welcome to Housing Development, a program that emphasizes on the provision of adequate, affordable and accessible housing for all Nigerians. As always, I am your housing diva, Flora. Stay tuned as we see the major news making rounds in the housing sector.
The federal government has expressed concern over how to ensure economic stability, job protection, and creation of more jobs amid the COVID-19 lockdown. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo disclosed this in an interview with newsmen after a private meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. Osinbajo stated that he met with President Buhari in a bid to resolve some of the pressing issues around COVID-19 and the economic problems Nigerians are facing, adding that the Economic Stability Committee headed by him will soon submit a full report to the President on its thoughts and ideas on how to stabilize the economy. Experts say the mortgage and housing sector will require palliatives and support in the form of intervention funds and reduced transaction costs to boost the sector. Mortgage and finance expert Akintayo Oloko explains that the central bank's multi-trillion naira stimulus package and other palliative measures are required in the mortgage and housing sector, as there is the possibility that salaries and self-employed income may also come under pressure in this time. Oloko, however, stressed that new mortgage transactions will likely be less than what is expected in more robust economic conditions. Hence, concerted efforts must be made to avert any significant adverse effect on the sector. A real estate company, Alaro City, has commenced various initiatives to assist the Lagos State government in combating the COVID-19 pandemic and support Lagos residents during the crisis. The Chief Executive Officer of Alaro City, Odunwayo Ojo, who made this known, stated that the distribution of relief items for targeted communities in the state commenced with the donation of 500 bags of rice and other relief materials to the Ekpe community. According to him, the Lagos State government's efforts to contain the spread of the virus and support communities in need were commendable and required the support of all stakeholders, adding that the organization's modest intervention is a way of helping communities and assisting government at all levels to effectively contain the virus. Report says nearly a third of American renters did not pay their rents for the previous month. This is according to data from the National Multifamily Housing Council, revealing that out of more than 13 million units that the report covered in the US, only 69% of renters paid their rents between April 1 and April 5, 23% down from last year's 82% during the same period. This is partly attributed to unemployment, as nearly 10 million Americans filed for unemployment in March, making April a difficult period for US renters. As governments world over rely on people to stay at home to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, urgent measures must be taken to prevent anyone falling into homelessness and ensure access to adequate housing for those without homes. UN Adequate Housing expert Leilani Faha disclosed this, adding that housing has become the frontline defense against the coronavirus, and approximately 1.8 billion people worldwide live in homelessness and grossly inadequate housing, making them particularly vulnerable to contracting the virus. The UN expert therefore urged world governments to take extraordinary measures to secure the right to housing for all in containing the spread of the pandemic in different countries.
My name is Kehinde Ogundimu, the Managing Director of Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company. This is a good program, Housing Development on AIT. Please keep watching.
Those were the major stories in housing this week. Do visit www.africanhousingnews.com to get latest news updates in housing. Now on to our focus for today. Satellite towns in Abuja are in dire need of infrastructural development, even as inhabitants call for government interventions in these areas. Housing Development paid a visit to two of these areas in Abuja, Gishiri and Mpape. Now here are what some of the inhabitants had to say.
Infrastructure in Mpape is so porous. There is no steady light. Some area doesn't even have light. Like my own, I don't have lights. And even when the light came, the estimating billing is so outrageous. So you go to some places, there is no access route. You can come with your car, there is no road for you to enter. So the whole infrastructure in Mpape here is so porous.
The road is not really good, and the living situation in this place is so poor. Like, it's hard for you to really have a good job around this place. And secondly, again, we don't have light. And seriously, water is the most important thing about in life. We don't have good water. Especially, we don't have good water. Even the pure water they sell here, some of them are seriously bad.
Only one entrance to Mpape here. Don't have road at all. It's very, very bad, and a lot of accidents happen.
There's no water and light, nothing like road here. The road here was constructed by Julius Berger for their own using, but you are helping them managing it here.
I think government can do something like making sure that they evacuate everyone, then do the master plan, and then even if it's to collect revenue every year, a lifetime revenue that can even make sure that they pay the rent. Then making the house looking better than the clustered house. Even the piping, the everything is not okay. You can see the road as an example. It's not very, very okay. So you can't really call this Abuja. This is not Abuja.
They don't have roads, but I think the light situation is fair. And I think water too is not well distributed. And the houses are too crammed together. I think they need to build the road for the people and see how they can also improve in the housing structure of the place. But for the light, I think they're doing great. There's no prominent hospital around. There's no health center here that takes care of anything. Everybody goes to Metama. And then also they should improve on the security situation. I think their police station is a bit too domestic. They should see how they can add more to the security so that we can live in peace and harmony.
Well, the road is not that good from outside here to inside this place, but the rent is not that high, and we do have light, at least let's say 12 hours in a day. We don't have standard hospital like that.
I am Dr. Sam Egwu, Senate Committee Chairman on Housing. Keep watching Housing Development Program.
Among the basic things mentioned by this resident is the lack of access to water. How can these people maintain the prescribed hand washing protocol at this time of COVID-19 when they have to buy water by the bucket? Something needs to be done, and fast too, to better the living condition of these people. Now, in this report coming up next, Housing Development takes a critical look at the situation of housing in satellite towns in Abuja and what could be the way forward to improving habitable conditions of those who live there. Take a look.
Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, since it was created in 1976, has grown vastly in all dimensions, possessing one of the best infrastructures in the world. Yet its satellite town seems to be abandoned. The city is divided into 6 area councils, of which some areas are designated as satellite towns. These include Kusaki Iyanga, Kuje, Rubochi, Anangada, Dobi, Gwagwalada, Zuba, Dede, Karshi, Gosa, Karu, Nyanya, Kubwa, Buari, Abaji, Kwali, amongst others. Development in the Capital Territory is, however, concentrated at the city centers, mainly in Maitama, Asokoro, Wuse, Garuki, and others, while the satellite towns lack infrastructures. Oddly, the majority of Abuja residents live in these satellite towns, which have next to non-existent infrastructures. How can these satellite towns be made habitable for those who live in them? Speaking with Housing Development Program, Reverend Ugochukwu Chime says there has to be effective collaboration between private sector and government.
The approach to making satellite towns in Abuja habitable is to work collaboratively between the private sector and the public sector. Government who are in control of the land should be able to discuss with the private sector. Most times they develop infrastructure that is not sustainable. They come out with policies that are utopian. But if we're able to sit down together, if you know I'm going to be the investor that will bring in my money, I should be part of the decision-making process. So I believe that the FCT should be able to sit down with developers and we'll be able to talk to ourselves and professionals. Sitting down, FCT, the professionals in the middle with developers who are investors in the real estate space, we'll be able to fashion out a workable program, a fundable program, a feasible program that will meet the needs of the market.
The department responsible for development of satellite towns in the FCT, the Department of Satellite Towns Infrastructure, DSTI, has its statutory responsibilities, which include to open up and develop the satellite towns by providing infrastructural facilities to the teeming rural dwellers, thereby improving their living standards, to provide a better environment through the provision of basic amenities, which would further reduce the pressure already existing in the capital city, and so on. The question will be, how well has the department worked towards achieving these responsibilities? Time will tell.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global. Keep watching the Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. Despite several housing interventions by Nigeria's government, affordable housing still seems like an unachievable dream. In this one-on-one interview, a housing expert, Jide Odusholu, talks about factors that has made it almost impossible to deliver affordable housing in Nigeria and also provide possible solutions. Take a listen.
To be more specific, when you talk about the problems of affordable housing in Nigeria, you've got the first one, consumers themselves, a mismatch of expectation and ability. Okay? Then 2, you've got the developers themselves. To be a developer is not the fact that you have some money in your bank account, or your uncle happens to have land somewhere, or you happen to be a graduate of any of the build industry disciplines. To be a developer is understanding that alchemy of need meeting opportunity, meeting specifics of what people would like to have. So there's that problem with supply, the inexperience or lack of proper understanding by the developers. Okay, and of course, then there's a third is the bureaucratic, or what I call societal challenges. I don't want to use the word government. Societal challenges. These things are what has created a problem where it is literally almost impossible to deliver affordable housing in Nigeria. We had Shagari housing program, the most successful one that we've ever had in Nigeria. Right? You had the 1004 developed by government. You had First Stack developed by government. You had Jakonde housing. Ineffective, inelegant, had challenges, but these were housing products that met a need. You see, the first problem we have is we need to go vertical. And that's one of the things that we've realized and we're now pushing. That if you do not go vertical, you cannot get the scale you need. What I mean by vertical? I mean you cannot effectively house people when everybody is building a duplex. Land is a finite resource. Infrastructure cost increase the larger the land size is. So in order for you to be able to deliver affordable housing, you've got to keep your infrastructure cost at a minimum. You've got to find a way of spreading your development costs on a smaller landscape, okay? And then you've got to be able to bring more people into that development. So to put in perspective for you, if I take a plot of land, whether it is in Abuja or in Lagos or in Ilorin or in Ibadan or wherever, if I take a plot of land and I develop that plot of land and I go vertical, I can put more people in it. Now, one of the things that people typically say is that culturally Nigerians don't like living in apartments. I don't think that's true. I think it's that mindset of, oh, if it is not my own house, it will not be well serviced, that causes a problem. If you look at 1004 in Lagos, for example, it was successful. We've got apartments in Abuja that were successful. Something was done right. And that's what we've got to keep replicating. Look, we are not an island. So it is not that people don't want to live in apartments. It is what type of apartments are you building for them?
My name is Andrew Chimponda, the Group Chief Executive and Managing Director of Shelter Afrique. I strongly endorse the housing program and housing show, and I think you should keep watching it. Thank you.
There you have it from Jide Odusolu. Like he said, what type of apartment are we building? Do you consider the interest of the low-income earners? The low-income earners constitute the majority of the population that are in their need of these houses. Let our focus be on building houses for this segment of the populace. It is time for Voices on the Streets with Raphael Adeoye.
Thank you for joining us on this segment, Voices on the Streets. Proper and regular hygiene has been recommended as one of the measures for preventing the spread of coronavirus. But to what extent do people have access to water supply for sanitation in their homes? Come with us, let's hear their opinions.
I don't have enough water. Before I get water, I have to buy water. And if I buy 150 on, it cannot last me from today till tomorrow. So if they want to wash, and I can be telling them, don't waste water, don't waste water. So this one, that we don't have enough water here, can bring many problems for us in this village.
I didn't see the Nigerian Civil War, and I didn't see the World War II. But this time around, this one now, with what the story I had, I think the thing really happened. I think it really happened. In my lifetime, I didn't believe that I can go from this Lukogoma, this area now, from here to Gwarempa. We spend 5,000 going and coming.
We used to wash our hand with clean because we believe that clean is also hot as a omo. We use clean to wash our hand. People that are selling pure water 100 naira before, now they are selling water 120, 150.
Before you wash your hand here, you have to buy water from Mirua, or you go to borehole, and even though you go to the borehole, you buy water. So every day we buy water to wash hand, and even the soap. We don't have any government water in this community.
Nobody else sanitizer here. They say we should buy soap. And even the water now is another thing. Look at now, there is no light in the area. The area, and they say we should stay inside. They say we should stay inside our house, no come outside.
There is no potable water. There is no even electricity. Though we are enjoying electricity at least a little bit, But as far as the issue, a water issue concerned, there's nothing, there's no water at all. All this Merua, we used to buy water from them.
We used to buy water in the Merua. If you look, this is Merua, you just turn around and see Merua. We buy 2 jerrycans, 15 naira.
As I'm talking to you right now, I don't even wash my hands since this morning. That's the truth. Because the way we are facing this thing now I'm at home. Maybe somebody will now see me that this man is living normal, but I'm dialing inside, seriously, because of what is happening now.
And that's how far we can go on this segment. Access to water supply in homes is very important, especially at this time of coronavirus, when proper sanitation and hygiene is of utmost importance. Now we'll take you back to the studio. My name is Raphael Adewoye.
My name is Charles Nyangete. I'm the Managing Director and CEO of the Innovative Risk and Investment Solutions Limited. Keep watching the Housing Development Program. Thank you.
Many thanks, Raphael. With parents trying to meet housing costs at a time of significant financial uncertainty, the need for clean and regular water supply in homes at this time cannot be overemphasized. Water should be made available and accessible to promote personal hygiene. Up next is Platinum Mortgage Bank Limited. Stay tuned.
Platinum Fast Track Mortgage is a unique product to Platinum Mortgage Bank. It was developed here as a result of our experience with providing mortgage services to our customers over a very long period of time. We found out that quite a number of our customers come back to complain about the long processing time, of the regular mortgage loans that you find in the market these days. So as a result of that, they have had very bad experiences in terms of losing their house allocations because of the long period it takes to process mortgage loans. So as a sensitive, customer-centric bank, we went back to the drawing board to put together a product that would guarantee a customer, someone who intends to own his house through mortgage, a product that will guarantee him access to his property within the space of 48 hours, which is the shortest possible time for which one can process a mortgage. So we came up with Platinum Fast Track Mortgage, which is a product that guarantees every intending homeowner who walks into our bank and wants to access a mortgage, the product guarantees him access to his property, his desired property, within the space of 48 hours from the time he meets all the conditions that are required to access the mortgage. There are two aspects of conditions to be met if you intend to own a house through mortgage. First of all is the down payment, which is the equity requirement, which varies from property to property depending on the cost of the property, And then there's also a list of requirements that, in terms of documentation, that you need to meet before you can be guaranteed access to the property. 21 years and above, we need to be sure that you work, and by that you have a regular source of income, whether you're a government worker, a civil servant, a business person, you own your own business and all that. We need to be sure that you have a regular source of income as to be able to repay the mortgage. And then of course we need to be sure that you can afford that mortgage that you're asking for, that it's within your capacity to repay every month. So we request for various documents to verify this, the age, income, and then your capacity. By that we can ask for your pay slip for 6 months if you're someone who works in a structured organization, and then we can also ask for your statement of account for business people who do their own business, self-employed individuals. So there are other documents which will be required of you for the mortgage to be processed, and once those two conditions are met, the down payment requirement and the documentation requirement, you're well on your way to owning your own home. The down payment, there are various terms that are used to refer to down payments. There is equity, there is personal stake, there is down payment. It all refers to the same thing, which is what you as a customer or as an intending homeowner will have to pay, the initial payment you have to deposit before your mortgage is processed.
That is it on today's episode of Housing Development. If you miss any part, you can catch up on our YouTube channel, Housing TV Africa. And please click on the subscribe button. Also do connect with us on Facebook via Housing Development Program, on Twitter via Housing Program. Like and interact on our posts, join the conversation. I'll be back here same time next week. Do have a great day ahead. I remain Flora, your Housing Diva. Do stay safe.